Hello and welcome to Education at SSBJ online video tutorials. We are in the chapter number 17, Stars and Solar System. If we look at the sky on a dark, clear night, what do we see? We see the entire sky dotted with the countless stars, some bright and some not so bright. If we observe them carefully, we find not all of them appear to twinkle, right? Some twinkle and some do not. The objects which do not twinkle maybe are the planets. The stars, the planets, the moon, and many other objects in the sky are called celestial objects. In this chapter, we will study one by one about the celestial object. But let us ask ourselves, what are planets? We have already studied in the previous classes that planets are those celestial bodies or heavenly bodies, we can call them, which revolve around the sun. Because we know our earth is also a planet. And like our earth, there are 8 planets. And all the 8 planets are revolving around the sun. But to be more specific, a planet must be fulfilling these 3 things. The first one is planet must orbit a star. What does it mean? A planet has to move or revolve around a star. Second point, a planet must be big enough to have enough gravity. And what does it mean? A gravity is a force of attraction, right? And more bigger the size, a more force of gravity a planets have. For example, a moon revolves around the earth because earth has a stronger gravity, a stronger force of attraction. And earth revolves around the sun because sun has a bigger size and it has more force of attraction, right? And it should have a spherical shape. The third one is it must be big enough that its gravity cleared away any other object. Nearby that you should not find any other biggest object which is similar of its size, right? So take an example of earth. Nearby that except moon. Moon is within our attraction. Other than that you will not find any bigger object just like earth, size similar to the earth, right? These 3 points are very important for an object to be called as planet, and that is why Pluto is not fulfilling all these requirements, and so Pluto is now not considered as a planet. We have only 8 planets. I am going to show you a simulation of solar system right here on your screen. To get this website, you need to type in Google solarsystemscope.com. Look at this, solarsystemscope.com, right? I'm talking about those who have got a computer and internet connection. However, maybe this is available even in the Android mobile. You can try typing this solarsystemscope.com. The moment you get inside this simulation site, you will get these buttons here, search button, settings, as well as I'm going to click here. Look at this. This is the solar system which is right in front of you, and you can get the simulation here. I can go for play button. This website provides every features about the solar system. You can watch there right on your screen now the planets revolving around the sun. But keenly observe the earth. You can see a moon which is revolving around the earth also. And then there are asteroids here which are moving in between Mars and Jupiter. The speed of the movement of revolution is different. The near ones are moving faster. Look at Mercury. Mercury moves faster because it is close to the sun. It is having more attraction towards sun. And look at the Venus. Venus goes slower around the sun than the Mercury. And then comes the Earth. After Earth, you look at the Mars. Mars is moving little slower. And now you see a Jupiter here. It's going too slower because it's far away from the sun. As I said already, the planets which are far away from the sun are less attracted by the sun, and that's why they go very slow. This site will provide you few more features, such as, let me search certain things here. I can search for sun information, information on planets, dwarf planets, and so on. If I go to the planet, further it will ask you to choose any one of these. For example, if I go for Earth, then it will give you an option whether to go for Earth as well as the moons of Earth. And if I go for the moon, it will show you and it will highlight here the moon. If I go and double click here on this, right, and the Earth will come closer to you here. You can watch it, and with the mouse you can just move around. Further, you can get all the information which you want. You can bring down the speed also of this, the structure of Earth, which you have already studied, mantle, outer core, inner core, and so on, and all other informations. So this website gives you a kind of experience where you can be one among the planet and move in the space and visualize the entire system. So please have every content of your textbook can be better understood with the help of this website. You can correlate every content which is given in your textbook. When we say celestial objects, what are the members of this group? They are galaxies, there are stars, there are planets, there are satellites, there are comets, there are asteroids, meteor and meteorites, and there are many others objects. All together are called celestial objects. Now you have studied bit of all these in your previous classes. However, galaxies are a huge group of stars, right? There are billions of stars in one galaxy, billions of stars. And how many galaxies are there? Billion galaxies are there in this universe, right? Our sun is a star which is in the galaxy Milky Way, right? Like a Milky Way, there are many other galaxies. So, among billion stars, our sun is also a star, and stars are bodies having their own light. They give out a light, unlike planets. Planets are those heavenly bodies, those celestial objects. They, move around the stars. Now we know about 8 planets. They all move around sun, and Earth is one among them. Then we have a satellite, and satellite are those objects. They can be called as moons, and they are moving around the planets. So we have galaxies made up of all the stars, and stars are the members of all the galaxies. We have billion galaxies, and we have 8 planets, known 8 planets, and satellites are those objects which are moving around the planets. We have other members such as comets, and these comets are made of ice, bit of rock, right? And they have a very long path, very long, huge orbit. They appear once in sometimes 30, 40, 50, 70 years or 76 years. Asteroids. Asteroids are rocks which are there in the space, right? They also sometimes contains water. We have meteors, meteorites. Again, these objects are part of asteroids and comets. They are also rocky, and when they come near the atmosphere or gravitation limit of the earth, they come and appear like a shooting star. These all things we have learnt in the previous classes. However, we shall in this tutorial see a planet Earth, right? And more particularly a moon of our planet, that we call it as moon only. It's a natural satellite, and that moon appears sometimes so big, a huge, a spherical, and sometimes a very different shape, and sometimes we don't see moon at all. So in this video tutorial we will learn the reason behind the different shapes of the moon. There are days when the shape of the moon appears to be perfectly round, and there are days when the moon cannot be seen at all, even if the sky is clear. The day on which the whole disk of moon is visible is known as full moon day. Thereafter, every night the size of the moon becomes thinner and thinner, and on the 15th day the moon is not visible. This day is known as new moon day. Very next day, only a small portion of the moon appears in the sky. This is known as the crescent moon. This again, the moon grows larger every day. On the 15th day, once again we get a full view of the moon. The various shapes of the bright part of the moon as seen during the month are called phases of the moon. Now let us find out what is the reason behind that. We all know our earth rotates and it also revolves around the sun. Does moon rotates? Yes, moon also rotates around its own axis and it also revolves around the earth. Point to be noted here, we always see a same picture of a moon every time. We will not be able to see other side of the moon. Why is that? The reason is the time taken for the moon to rotate around its axis is always equal to the time taken to revolve by the moon to revolve around the earth. Both timing are same, and that is the reason always one phase will be towards one particular portion of the earth. Those people who are there in that particular portion will see only that part of the moon. Let us study step by step the occurrence of phases of moon. What we see right now on the screen is a portion of sun. Let us imagine that sun rays from sun move forward, right? And then we have a earth which is one of the member of solar system facing the sun. When it faces the sun, observe it, part of earth is fully bright, whereas on the other side it's dark. Now the people on this particular part are experiencing day, whereas here it's night. Earth rotates around its axis and it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, and therefore we have 24 hours timing for our one day. Then we have a natural satellite of the earth and we call that as moon, and moon also revolves around earth, and we have already studied that moon rotates as well as it revolves around the earth, right? Now these light rays fall on the moon and one side of the moon appears bright here, whereas other side of the moon is dark. And moon keeps changing its place. Moon can shift during its rotation from one place to another place. It can go to this place and then it moves on other place, and that sequence continues, and thus it rotates around the earth. But then if a moon is at this particular position, one side of the moon is bright, whereas other side is dark. So a person who is here will see the moon as completely dark because he will be exposed to only one side of the moon, and he can see the moon in the shape of complete as a dark moon, and that is what is new moon. Suppose if the moon changes its place here, it goes to a different place, and then the part where it illuminated because of sunlight increases, and a person who is here on the earth can see a different phase of the moon. The moon, which was completely dark, appears now like a crescent moon. And moon continues to rotate, and it changes its position, and its appearance also will change. Look at this, it looks a bit bigger here. Exactly how? And when the moon comes to this position and most of the sunlight falls on this, it appears a bit bigger. And whereas it takes one particular position where the complete disk of the moon, one side of the moon becomes bright, and that time it becomes completely big, a complete brighter looking spherical moon, and that is full moon. In the same way, as the moon changes its position, the appearance also will change. Now let us start from new moon, right? So this is a new moon, and new moon starts appearing slowly here, and then it changes its place. Its phases also will change, and then it becomes full, and then it goes even from here to here. If this is a new moon, this will be a full moon. Now remember, from here to here, complete. Look at the shape of the moon. The brighter side of the moon is slowly reduces in its size. Here it becomes completely half, here it's a crescent, and then no moon, right? So therefore this phase of the moon from here to here, which is depicted here with the yellow color line, that is what called waning. Waning means reducing the brighter side of the moon, whereas from here onwards now the size will slowly increase, and that is what is called waxing. So remember, waning, during waning the brighter side of the moon slowly changes and it becomes completely dark, whereas during waxing again it appears like a new moon is born, and slowly it becomes a big, what we call as full moon. These things happen just because of the particular part of the moon which is exposed to the sunlight which is coming from this end. Okay, so it is just like a shadow and play. Now this particular moon is given the name crescent moon. So here also we have a crescent moon, right? But since this is during the waning process, so we call that as waning crescent. So remember this, and this will be waxing crescent. Now this particular size of the moon is called as a gibbous moon. Now tell me, during this waning, this is a gibbous phase, and therefore this phase is called waning gibbous, and you can tell me this is a waxing gibbous. So when the moon starts appearing from here to here, it's a 1/4 is over. So it's the first quarter, and from here to here it's a second quarter, and from here to here it's a third quarter, and it's a complete one circle, one cycle we can call it as. Therefore this particular moon can be referred as first quarter, and this is second, and this will be a third quarter, right? And this is how the phases of the moon appears every fortnight. Remember, let me tell you once again, from here to here it takes almost 15 days, and next 15 days, for example, let me once again correct myself, from here to here it's a 15 days, and then again 15 days. You get for every 15 days once a full moon and once a new moon, right? It's not exactly 15 days. Lunar days are a bit different, right, which we will further tell you. But suppose if you want to experience what exactly how many days it takes, right, from the day one, right, you can plan to watch the moon and get experience of how it changes. And presently you can have particularly this month is now November ending, and most probably you will have a clear sky. You can come out sometimes in the night, and same time you have to watch it every day, the moon and its how it appears. Okay, and make a note of that and draw it on your paper on that day, the shape of the moon, right? And then you combine all the pictures for 30 days, and you will really experience the change of shape of moon in the sky, which you have noticed and you yourself have drawn. And then you can draw the conclusion that how many days it has taken and what are the different shapes which you have drawn for 30 days, and find out, will it be a 30 days or 29 days, and ask yourself what is the reason if at all it completes in 29 days, right? And this kind of learning is a very good learning. We can call it as an experiential learning, right? So next part of the lesson we will deal with in the next tutorial. Till then, thank you very much.